My friend, there are moments in life when heaven tries to get your attention, not through thunder, not through miracles, but through the quiet cry of a soul that loves you. Today, the angels are whispering a message that cannot be ignored. Your soulmate is crying for help. You may not see their tears, you may not hear their prayers, but heaven has heard them. Somewhere, someone meant for you is struggling in silence, spiritually, emotionally, maybe even physically, and God is stirring your heart right now because time is short. This message isn't about fear, it's about awakening. It's about listening before it's too late. About realizing that love is not just about feeling, it's about hearing the silent cries of the one your soul was created to help heal. So let's open our hearts and let heaven speak through these 5 divine revelations. Heaven sees what human eyes often overlook. Before your soulmate ever sheds a tear, before pain ever reaches their lips, heaven already feels the weight of it. The angels watch over them, not from a distance, but with divine compassion. And when their heart begins to break, the message is sent to you. That sudden feeling of heaviness in your chest, that unexplained sadness that passes through your spirit, it isn't coincidence, it's communication. Heaven is trying to awaken your awareness. Your soulmate's pain has reached the ears of God, and now you are being stirred because you are connected to that soul in ways deeper than words. When someone is chosen to be part of your divine purpose, their struggles echo in your spirit. That's why sometimes even when there's silence between you, you still feel them. The connection between 2 souls ordained by heaven doesn't rely on human contact. It's rooted in the spiritual realm where love speaks through energy, through dreams, through a sudden thought that won't leave you alone. Heaven feels their tears before you do, and that's why the angels begin to whisper to your heart. They move in mysterious ways through intuition, through sudden memories, through divine timing that seems too perfect to explain. Perhaps you wake in the middle of the night with their name on your lips, or you feel a strange urgency to pray for them without knowing why. That's not your imagination, it's your spirit being activated. God is trying to use you as a vessel of comfort and prayer for someone whose faith may be slipping. Heaven is inviting you to intercede, to stand in the gap for the one your heart has been divinely joined to. Love is not just about being together, it's about sensing when the one you love is not okay, even when they don't speak it. It's about responding before it's too late, before silence turns into surrender. Sometimes we forget that love is not limited to earthly understanding. When 2 souls are connected by purpose, they share a spiritual rhythm. When one suffers, the other feels the tremor. This is why heaven alerts you not to overwhelm you, but to remind you of your assignment. You were placed in their life not by accident, but by divine design. Your prayers carry weight. Your compassion becomes a shield. The angels are saying, don't ignore this feeling, because what you feel right now is not confusion, it's calling. You're being summoned to act, to care, to pray with a love that listens more deeply than ears ever could. When heaven feels their tears, it also sees your hesitation. It knows you've been hurt too, that you've questioned whether the bond is real, whether you should keep caring. But heaven never sends a message without a reason. The timing of this awakening is sacred. There's something in your soulmate's life that only your spiritual presence can help calm. They may be on the edge of giving up, questioning their worth, or losing faith in love, and God in His mercy has chosen you to feel their pain so you can help guide them back to light. You may not need to say anything. Sometimes your prayer alone becomes the bridge between despair and deliverance. Heaven feels their tears before you do. And in that awareness comes responsibility. When God lets you feel the sorrow of another, it's not meant to break you, but to awaken your purpose. It's heaven's way of reminding you that you were created not just to receive love, but to give it in its purest form, to stand in faith when another can't, to intercede when another is too weak to pray. Your soulmate's tears are not just theirs, they are heaven's call for you to rise. Don't let distraction, pride, or fear make you ignore that still small voice inside. For every tear they shed, God sees a purpose being born. And the moment you choose to listen, you become part of heaven's rescue plan for a soul crying out for help. When heaven joins two souls together, it is not merely for companionship, but for purpose. And wherever there is divine purpose, there is always spiritual opposition. The enemy does not waste his time attacking what has no potential. He strikes where destiny is written. When your soulmate begins to cry for help, it may not only be from heartbreak or emotional pain, it could be because they are under attack from unseen forces designed to separate what God has joined. The closer you both get to fulfilling heaven's plan, the more intense the pressure becomes. The enemy studies your weaknesses, your patterns, your fears, and he uses them as tools to plant misunderstanding, distance, and doubt between you. What begins as a small misunderstanding grows into silence, and that silence becomes the breeding ground for lies whispered by darkness. They don't care anymore. You're better off alone. It was never real. Those are not your thoughts. They are strategic whispers meant to break a bond that carries light. Your soulmate may be crying because they are exhausted from the unseen war in their spirit. They are fighting battles you cannot see, battles against depression, confusion, temptation, or despair. Heaven allows you to sense this spiritual tension so you can intercede. Prayer becomes the weapon that disarms the enemy's attack. When you feel the urge to pray for them suddenly, even without knowing the reason, it's because your spirit is being called into position. The angels are rallying around you, urging you to fight not with words or emotion, but with faith. You must understand that love is not only a feeling, it is a force. And when that love is rooted in God, it carries authority. The enemy fears such love because it exposes his lies. He knows that two people united in divine love carry power to break generational curses, heal wounds, and birth blessings that touch generations. So he aims to divide you before that power manifests. He will use timing to confuse you, pride to blind you, and distractions to drain your focus. That's why many divine connections go through storms. They are not cursed. They are targeted. But even in the storm, heaven remains present. Angels stand guard, waiting for you to remember your role as a spiritual protector. You may not be able to reach your soulmate physically, but your prayers can travel where your hands cannot. When you pray, you invite heaven's intervention. The same angels that deliver this message are released to surround your soulmate with comfort, strength, and divine clarity. Your prayers break chains that words never could. The tears you shed in prayer become a shield over their life. The enemy trembles when a heart refuses to give up and chooses instead to fight through faith. That's why it's important not to let anger or disappointment silence your compassion. You might think the distance means it's over, but sometimes that distance is the battlefield where heaven is fighting for both of you. The enemy's strategy is always the same: divide to destroy, distract to delay, deceive to discourage. But heaven's strategy is restoration through revelation. God reveals their pain to you because he trusts you to handle it with love. You are not being punished by this burden. You are being positioned. Your soulmate's tears are heaven's invitation for you to rise as a spiritual warrior. Your prayers might be the very reason they find strength to keep going another day. Your faith may be the wall that keeps the darkness from consuming them completely. So when confusion comes, don't let it win. When pride rises, humble your heart. When you feel forgotten, Remember that heaven hasn't forgotten either of you. The angels are fighting alongside you, but they need your agreement through prayer. You are not powerless. You are chosen to stand in the gap for the one heaven joined your life to. The enemy may try to attack the bond, but he cannot destroy what is protected by obedience. Love that prays is stronger than hate that plots. Faith that listens is louder than fear that whispers. And when you continue to intercede, despite what you see, you become the living proof that heaven's plan will always triumph over the enemy's schemes. There are moments when what you feel from your soulmate isn't just their pain, it's a reflection of something deep within yourself. Heaven often allows your heart to sense their sorrow because it mirrors your own hidden wound. The ache you feel when they are distant, the heaviness that comes when they are hurting, may not only be about them, but about the parts of your own soul that still long for healing. When two souls are spiritually connected, their emotions intertwine. Their joy lifts you, their sorrow weakens you. It's not dependency, it's divine empathy. Heaven designed this connection to awaken compassion and remind you that love is not one-sided. You are called not only to love them, but to understand them, to see in their struggles the reflection of your own. The cry of your soulmate is a sacred mirror showing you what still needs healing in yourself. Perhaps you've been praying for them to change, to open up, to love you differently. But maybe God is using their silence to teach you patience, their distance to strengthen your faith, their tears to remind you how deeply you once longed for someone to listen to yours. Sometimes heaven allows a divine pause, not as punishment, but as preparation. The reflection you see in their pain becomes the very lesson that grows you into who you need to be for them and for yourself. Love that is built on understanding becomes unbreakable. Love that matures through empathy becomes eternal. It's easy to misread their cry as rejection when in truth it's revelation. Their sadness awakens compassion in you because it touches the same places where you once bled. The heart recognizes pain because it has known it. That's why their cry shakes you. It's not foreign, it's familiar. Heaven is teaching you through their struggle how to love beyond words, how to care without conditions, and how to forgive even when it's undeserved. The cry of your soulmate becomes the voice of your own soul asking